All right, it's Hillary here from PSP Trenton Community Recreation, one of the rec coordinators here on the base. I have Tina Bergman, Mrs. Bergman here from Trent River Public School in Trenton. She teaches for the Hastings Prince Edward County. Thank you for sharing some skills and tips during this pandemic. Tina is a military spouse. Her husband served 21 years in the military, had 4 tours of duty. They currently reside within the Quinte West area, and Tina's focus really is on self-regulation. She's taught special education and really has an awesome teaching philosophy and uses different skills to adapt to every learner's needs. So I'm going to have Tina take over, and then I will be asking a couple questions, and Tina is going to be doing a presentation for us.
Well, thanks, Hillary, for that amazing introduction. What I'd like you to do is ask your questions because you're speaking for your audience. I'm going to lead you through a little bit of some of the tips and tricks, strategies, if you like, pardon me, of some of the things that have worked for my students in the classroom and as well for my own family. So basically, it talks about working on the beauty of us to find that wisdom. I generally, ooh, that went a little quick. Let's go back, slide 2, my apologies. So taking a look at some of Stuart's work, whenever anything happens in my classroom or I'm downtown shopping and I run into someone who seems to be really upset, really off and really concerned, I first of all take a look at what we call the biological. How are they actually acting? And you kind of get that fifth sense of, that person seems to be really upset. Sometimes you take a look at their eyes, the emotion. Sometimes it's the body, what they're doing. Sometimes somebody says something to you that perhaps is really upsetting, like you're going to do this at this time, and this is your main focus right now to work on that. We call that the pro-social stressor of you can't tell me what to do, which actually happens a lot, especially with parents and with kids at home, and as well with that social. Sometimes we want our friends to be there for us, and they're not. So in the classroom, at home, we all take a look at responding to stressors different ways. And I'm just going to take you through a little bit of Stuart Shanker's, a little bit of his explanation as to how he talks about self-reg, and then we'll come back to this. Have a listen, please.
Well, Dr. Stuart Shanker is a distinguished research professor of philosophy and psychology at York University. He's also the author of the new book, Self-Reg, How to Help Your Child and You Break the Stress Cycle and Successfully Engage with Life. In it, he explains his 5-step process to help kids cool down when they're acting up, and Stuart joins us now.
Doc, great to have you here. I just want to take the rest of the show and talk to you because this is so much a problem in my family and with so many families. I have young children, a 10-year-old daughter who is having a real difficulty dealing with the stress of school and all the rest of these things.
Well, it's kind of like an epidemic now. We're seeing this just explosion of problems in children and teens. And because of some important advances in neuroscience, we kind of think we know why it's happening and what to do about it.
What do you do?
Well, there are 5 steps. The first thing we have to do is distinguish between stress behavior and misbehavior. Stress behavior is kind of like being sick. It has its own signs. Then we've got to figure out what are the stressors. And an awful lot of these stressors today are what are called hidden stressors. So you've got some right now. These lights for you are a hidden stressor. They burn a lot of energy. Then we've got to figure out how do we reduce the stressors, and that's what your daughter needs to learn how to do. But the big step really is becoming aware of when I'm overstressed. We're seeing a generation of kids who really don't know what calm feels like. And then the last step is, okay, what are we going to do to fix this? What are we going to do?
How is this different than mindfulness, which is another word we hear a lot of?
So the problem that we're seeing is typically when you do mindfulness, it might be, say, breathing exercises or yoga, and that's terrific for some kids. The problem is a lot of kids will actually get agitated by trying to do that. So there's no one size fits all here. Instead, what the kid has to learn is what works for me. And so I've got a son who's a hockey player. What works for him is shooting pucks at the garage door, unfortunately.
Sorry for your garage.
Mom won't replace it. Every child is different, and you know what? They're changing all the time. So we really do need the other 4 steps so that we can learn by trial and error what's working.
We just have about 30 seconds left, but what if the parent doesn't know what calm feels like? How do you teach it?
$1,000,000 question, and you're absolutely right. So really what we're seeing is a contagion of stress in all of us.
Mhm.
So self-reg does start with mom and dad or whoever.
Yeah, calming down first.
Yeah.
Dr. Stuart Shanker, again, the book is called Self-Reg. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Liz.
So as Stuart has mentioned, the whole piece is us. We are the strategy. We are the person. We are the person that is going to actually take a look at these different pieces. Now I'm just trying to move your space bar over here a little bit, so I'll be able to get back to that presentation. Talking again, what Stuart was talking about was all of the different pieces here of being able to understand reframing that behavior, recognizing where those stressors, and we can't always recognize where that particular stress is coming, but these are the 5 hints. Going back once again, those are the 5 hints that kind of give us the clues. Have to be looking at whether it's biological, whether it's something someone said, trying to help others fit in or not fit in. The whole cognitive piece. A lot of times for my parents at this point in time, how do you use technology? That is the biggest piece of all. And then my job is to reflect, being very aware of perhaps the stress may be coming from the cognitive piece and the pro-social piece. And this is where we take a look. A lot of times, absolutely a lot of times when you and I are over at PSP and we're just trying to get rid of some of that energy, playing racquetball, playing tennis, we need to have that high energy and high tension. At times, it's very helpful for us. At times, it is not to be so helpful in what we call this high energy, low tension. This actual graphic is taken from Robert Thayer's work, taking a look at managing energy, tension, and stress. So your stressors are very aware again as to basically how you are attacking a situation or whether you're working through a situation. Whenever we're managing our stress, we're taking a look at the best way to get through this pandemic, the best way to move forward. We're learning and we're growing. We want to be adaptive. We want to be growth-minded. The biggest piece is we really have to watch when we're getting into our low energy and our low tension or high tension. Those are the pieces we are going to have to recognize and be able to tell each other what we can actually learn. So self-reg is a powerful method for understanding stress and managing. You have to remember that the stress is the piece that we are at this point in time learning and growing through. And the anxiety is the piece where we continue to either relive those stressors or move forward from what we've learned. Your basic and best shot is always to go to the Self-Reg website. And we're always taking a look at selfreg.ca, which is actually, if I just click on that, and I'll take you right there. And lots of different tools, lots of different blogs, lots of different pieces, lots of videos that are here and able. There's many free things that they're offering right now at this point in time. And it is a lot of info sheets through the resources and the infographics that will also help you. Stuart has 4 books. I particularly am working through the Self-Reg Handbook for Educators, taking a deeper look at that. But every parent's right-hand book is the Self-Reg How to Deal with That. And that, of course, is available for all parents to order. So, any questions that I can answer, or any questions that we can maybe take a look at?
Okay, thanks, Tina, for providing us that brief presentation. Very good information, especially, I know there's no one size fits all, but I think during this pandemic, those 5 indicators will really help parents get through this difficult time. We all know it's a challenging time, especially young ones who are unable to see their teachers or friends. I know that you use a lot of self-regulation in your teaching philosophy and practice. Can you provide parents with a couple self-reg tools that you use in your classroom or at home that they could use during this pandemic? So whether that's your self-reg toolkit or just a couple things that really work with some kids that might be more challenging in your classroom.
One of the pieces, younger children, kindergarten, grade 1, they have a really difficult time with wait time. So one of the pieces that's easily able to do, and certainly it's available on every internet search engine, is what we call a wait jar. So if you take a little bit of oil, or if you take a little bit of bath gel, add a little bit of sparkles to it, and put a Lego dude in it. Put it any plastic jug at all. And what you'll find within the bath gel is this little Lego dude will scooch up very slowly, turn the bottle around, and the Lego kind of scoots down. You can use any type of a Lego dude. You could use a small little couple of marbles. You can use whatever you like. And it just gives that child a couple minutes where they wait to see the actual little Lego dude scoot up, gives him a chance to kind of reframe his behavior and be able to maybe say, I'm a little upset about I didn't get a turn on the computer. One of the biggest pieces that we're looking at is this wait time with the computers, because we've got 3 or 4 kids trying to use one Chromebook or one laptop. Mom and dad, make the learning fit for you. You are there to support your family. We all know in military families, it's the family that comes first. Yes, the learning is definitely important. Absolutely. The key issue is you make the learning fit for you. You take the time of when you want to spend the time. If you feel, for example, that your mom is out there on the frontline learner and dad is out there military every day, maybe responding to your teacher's request of doing a COVID assignment is not for your family at this time. Take the time to just have a quick message with the teacher and say, you know, this is an assignment that my son, my daughter is not really capable of focusing on because of the threat to us as frontline learners or frontline workers. Please take the time for yourself. Reduce your stressors. Make sure that you're only doing the learning that fits for your family. If it's an assignment that doesn't work, if it's too much time on one piece or the other, let your teacher know. One of the pieces I often communicate to my parents is, this isn't right for you, let me know. But the other piece is to make that time to connect face to face to your kids, whether it's around the dinner table, whether around the lunch table. We're actually talking about the kitchen table learning site. So you're not only having your meals there, but you're doing your learning there as well. Take the time, put your phones away, put your devices away, and spend the time out in the backyard, just as a family. Spend the time, gathering around one of those small propane fires, because we do have a fire ban on. Spend the time just sitting around in a circle. Take the time to be spending with each other, because this is a once in a lifetime moment. And make sure that you try to find one small thing that you're grateful for every single day. That'll make a world of difference as well.
All right, that was awesome, Tina. I think that answered most of my questions, because I think you nailed it with your presentation. Is there anything else that you want to add that parents